Ahoy, mateys, and welcome to Sail into Poetry with yours truly, Miss Minickle. Today, mateys, we are going to be focusing on shape poems. Now, a lot of people think when we say shape poems, it's only about triangles, rectangles, squares, circles, but that's not quite the truth. The truth is, shape poems are anything that it describes. So it's any object or anything we're trying to describe. For example, the poem you see in front of you is an example of a shape poem. Now I want you to listen and listen carefully and see what you think this poem is about. Are you ready? Let's do this. In a twist, we felt the rain, wind, and hail, and then the thunder and lightning came. The winds gathered up and began to spin, like a spinning top sucking up dust like a vacuum cleaner. The twister went around and around like a merry-go-round. The gusts of air were picking up dust. It continued to roar loudly, destroying everything along the way. So before we take our guess, let's think about this. They felt rain, wind, and hail. Winds gathered up, began to spin. Gusts of air were picking up dust, roaring loudly, and destroying everything along the way. So, what do you think this poem was about? You got it. It was about tornadoes. And even in the title itself, we can tell that it's about tornadoes in a twist. Now, mateys, we're going to go over some more examples together. Now, the first example is a snowman. Now, I suggest always to take a sheet of paper and write some ideas about what you're going to write about a snowman. It is also suggested that sometimes if you draw the shape of whatever you're going to draw, that will also help you out as well. It comes down to what you feel comfortable with. But I personally would suggest writing words down, getting your ideas down first, because that will give you an idea about what you're going to write about. You can take pictures to look at. You can take just your experience with things. Like if I was writing a poem right now about a snowman, I may use this picture about the scarf, the orange nose, the buttons, the hat, the sun, surrounded by snow. These are all things I could use. Now, you don't always have to use a picture. You can use something to describe its experience as well. And in the next poem that I'm going to share with you, you're going to see that this matey writes about their experience with snow instead of describing the snowman itself. Are you ready? It's cold outside. I don't want to go outdoors and play, but mom says I have to anyway. It started to snow and I'm going to freeze. I hate playing outside on days like these. But wait a sec. I have the most amazing, brilliant idea. I'll cover myself up with snow and I'll hide in here. And then they even have words here, brr, 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 show that the person doesn't really like snow. And as you can see here, they wrote in the shape of a snowman. Now, this matey didn't write about what the snowman looked like. This matey wrote about their experience with snow. And as we can see here, this matey doesn't like to be cold. And to be honest, I agree with this matey. Summer's my favorite subject. Excuse me, my favorite season. Next, we're going to talk about a balloon. Now, what you can do once again is you can look at the color, look at the shape, or write about your experience. It's up to you. You make the poem meaningful to you. Now, this matey is also going to share their experience with a balloon. As big as a ball, as round as the sun, I tug and pull you when you run. And when wind blows, I say politely, hold me tightly. So this matey describes a balloon. It looks like a balloon. You can see that right there. And this matey's talking about how they feel when they are holding on to a balloon. Hold me tightly. And also, mateys, as I said before, writing your ideas down, you may also use charts too. Or I should say graphs, like this one shows graphs. It depends what works best for you. Some people like to have the shape and see that and then start writing, or someone would like to write about their experience first. It all depends on how you want to share your information. That's the great thing about poetry. You do what you want to do to make it work. We're going to do another example. The sun. One of my favorite things, mateys. Sun, water, all is good. All right. So as you can see here, we only see like half the sun here. All right. But it looks like it's like reflecting in the water, as you can see. My favorite thing. Look at the sky. It's like this orangish red. You see yellow, gold. It looks beautiful. So what I can do is write down what I'm seeing to help me write my poem. Or I can write what I know about the sun, information I have learned in school. Now you will see, here is an example of a graphic organizer that would help you write about the sun. So you could start writing information here, and then here you could put information as well. As I said before, it's up to you. It's your sun, and you make it the way you want to make it. Now, in this picture, poet Atiya did the sun, and as you can see here, she took the circle of the sun. She talks about what the sun does. Warms the earth, help flowers grow, makes me hot, sun hot, gas bright. And then the rays, Tia has hot, 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 hot. What she's doing most of the time is writing the word hot, and then she writes hot twice. Then she writes it 3 times. Then she writes it 1 time. Then 2 times. Then 3 times. Here she did 1 just to make it her own. Then she did hot twice. See what she did, mateys? Now, you may do something totally different. You might not draw it like this. You might write a little poem inside. Is it wrong? No, because you all have different experiences. Now, mateys, it is your turn to write your own shape poem. In the back of your poetry packet, you should see shape poem. If you don't have it for some reason, make sure you get a sheet of paper out. Take a moment, write some ideas, write about some things you enjoy, and write about it, and then decide how you want to create it into a shape. Now, remember, it's your experience, the way you see things. There's no wrong or right way to do this. Just have some fun. As always, mateys, it's always a pleasure. Stay safe and sail on!